Can the law of physics explain everything? Hi everyone, today I'd like to discuss one of the most ambitious questions in science and philosophy. If humanity eventually discovers a complete theory of everything, will every phenomenon in the universe become fully explainable? For centuries, physicists have pursued an extraordinary goal, the discovery of a single unified framework capable of describing all fundamental interactions in nature. Today, the Standard Model successfully explains three of the four known fundamental forces, while general relativity provides our best description of gravity. Yet these two theories remain mathematically incompatible under extreme conditions, such as the center of a black hole or the earliest moments after the Big Bang. Many physicists therefore seek a deeper framework, a theory of everything (TOE) that unifies all fundamental forces into one coherent mathematical structure. Supporters argue that such a theory would represent the culmination of one of humanity's greatest intellectual quests. Throughout history, science has repeatedly unified seemingly unrelated phenomena. Isaac Newton demonstrated that the same law governing a falling apple also governs planetary motion. James Clerk Maxwell unified electricity, magnetism, and light. The Standard Model later unified the electromagnetic and weak nuclear interactions. Each scientific revolution revealed that nature was simpler and more elegant than previously imagined. A theory of everything might extend this historical trend to its ultimate conclusion. Some physicists believe that once the fundamental laws are completely understood, every physical phenomenon will, in principle, become derivable from them. Stars, galaxies, chemistry, biology, and even the human brain would ultimately obey the same underlying mathematical principles. Nothing would violate the law of physics because those laws would define the very structure of reality itself. However, critics argue that fundamental explanation is not equivalent to complete explanation. Even if every particle obeys identical physical laws, highly complex systems often exhibit emergent properties. For example, the behavior of a single water molecule cannot explain the dynamics of hurricanes. Likewise, the equations governing individual neurons do not automatically explain consciousness, language, culture, or political institutions. Knowledge at one level of organization does not necessarily eliminate the need for explanations at higher levels. This distinction is closely related to the concept of emergence. An emergent phenomenon possesses characteristics that arise through interactions among simpler components. Temperature emerges from the collective motion of molecules. Life emerges from extraordinarily complex biochemical interactions. Markets emerge from countless individual economic decisions. Although all these systems obey the laws of physics, understanding them requires concepts that do not appear explicitly in fundamental physical equations. Another challenge comes from chaos theory. Certain deterministic systems are extraordinarily sensitive to initial conditions. Tiny differences may produce dramatically different outcomes over time. Even if the underlying laws are perfectly known, practical prediction may remain impossible because no measurement can possess infinite precision. The famous butterfly effect illustrates how deterministic laws may nevertheless generate effectively unpredictable behavior. Some philosophers also distinguish between reductionism and scientific pluralism. Reductionists argue that every science ultimately reduces to physics. Pluralists respond that biology, psychology, economics, and sociology each investigate patterns that cannot be usefully replaced by particle physics alone. A complete theory of electrons does not automatically become a complete theory of Shakespeare, democracy, or human consciousness. In my opinion, a theory of everything would represent one of humanity's greatest scientific achievements. Nevertheless, it would not eliminate the need for higher-level sciences. Reality possesses multiple layers of organization, each requiring its own concepts, methods, and explanations. Physics may provide for foundation, but it is not necessarily the entire building. Ultimately, the search for a theory of everything raises a deeper philosophical question. Does explaining the smallest constituents of reality mean that we have explained reality itself? Or does understanding the universe require not only knowledge of its fundamental laws, but also an appreciation of the complex structures that emerge from them? Perhaps the universe is unified at its foundation, while remaining endlessly diverse in its expression. So here's my question. If scientists eventually discover a complete theory of everything, do you think all other sciences will ultimately reduce to physics, or will higher level explanations always remain indispensable? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for listening. See you next time.